Hey y'all, welcome back to my kitchen at my Appalachian Life. It's a cold day, Saturday, and Joe and I decided that cabbage beef soup sounded good for today, so I've got that started and we'll show you how I make it. The recipe calls for 1.5 pounds of hamburger, but I only had a pound package in the freezer, so that's what we're using. So I've got it over here in the Instant Pot browning on saute. And when that finishes browning, I'm going to take the hamburger meat out and drain it. And then I'm going to add some olive oil, but I'm using avocado oil, and saute some onion and garlic. Okay, the onions have sauteed for a little bit, so I'm adding 2 cloves of minced garlic. If you haven't tried one of these garlic rockers, they're great. I used to use a garlic press, but this is so much easier to clean. And I'll let that saute for just a minute till the garlic becomes fragrant. And then I'm going to add the beef back. I've drained my beef. It's going back in, along with all the other ingredients. I'm trying to saute off. Okay, chopped up my cabbage and my carrots, and it's going to go in. And in goes the carrots. This was 1 whole carrot diced up. And now I'm going to add a can of diced tomatoes. I'm using the fire roasted tomatoes. The recipe just called for diced tomatoes, but I like the fire roasted. I think it gives an added flavor. Okay, I've got the diced tomatoes in here, and I'm going to add a can of tomato sauce, an 8-ounce can. I'm going to add 4 cups of beef broth. I'm using the low sodium beef broth. This is 32 ounces. Then I'm going to use Worcestershire sauce, 1 tablespoon. One tablespoon Worcestershire. and 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. I'm going to add 1 bay leaf, 2 tablespoons of parsley. This is my homegrown parsley that I preserved, and I just put it in an old spice bottle. I like homegrown better than anything. So that is 2 tablespoons of parsley. And a half a teaspoon of dried oregano. Same thing, I've got my homegrown oregano that I've dried and just put in an old spice bottle and labeled it. So that's a half a teaspoon of oregano. And these leaves are still a little bit chunky, so I'm just going to grind them up with my fingers and put it in there. Now all we like is a half a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of black pepper. So here is the salt. And my black pepper. Do you like my pepper jar? I love the little sheep on it. So cute. Okay, I'm going to give this a good stir. And then I'm going to put my lid on the Instant Pot. I can find out what I did with my lid here a minute ago. I've got the seal ring in. Make sure when you're using the Instant Pot that you have the seal ring in tight. And you've got your valve on. And it's got a place that says sealing and venting. You want to make sure you have it all the way over on sealing. And you put that on the Instant Pot. Okay, I just turned the Instant Pot on. I put the lid on. It's back here on sealing. Make sure that's all the way over on sealing. And I turned mine on using the soup broth button. I pushed that button and it automatically showed 10 minutes. So I used the plus button and upped it to 15 minutes. And it's showing that it's on and heating up right now. And it will beep when it's ready and starts cooking for that 15 minutes. Okay, it just beeped and the 15 minutes is on display now. So it will start counting down the 15 minutes, and it is on high. You can see high right here. And once the 15 minutes is done, we're going to let it release, slow release for a while, and then we'll release the pressure, but we'll get to that later. And I used to deal in antiques, so I just love anything old. And you might notice this cabinet behind us. Joe and I would go to estate auctions, and this is a cabinet. I mean, this thing is heavy. It came over on the ark. and we washed it down and sanded the bad spots off of it. It was outside in a barn, and it was really dirty. In fact, we had to high pressure to get all the mud off of it. And I painted chalk paint inside the door panels, and then just put our family's prayer list here. And over here it says there's only 2 choices on the shelf: pleasing God or pleasing self. And I just love that saying. Our Sunday school teacher would say that, and I just wanted to always remember that, so I put it on that side. But anyway, we'll see what treasures we can find today. Okay, it's down to 1 minute cooking time. And when it beeps and goes off, I'm going to hit the cancel button here to stop it. There it goes. I'm going to stop it from cooking when it finishes beeping. Now it's off, and I'm going to let it sit there for 5 minutes and let it release naturally on its own. And after 5 minutes, I will turn this valve back over to venting to let it finish venting. Okay, it has finished venting, and you can see that this valve here has dropped back down in its hole. So that indicates that the pressure is completely released, and it is safe to open the pot now. I wish you could just smell how delicious this soup smells. It's making me hungry.
It's good.
Well, look up here and tell me.
It's good. It's good for what ails you.
Does it have enough flavor to it?
Absolutely, plenty of flavor.
All right. Well, there's the cabbage beef soup. It's so easy to make and quick to make in the Instant Pot. I'll put the recipe in the comment section below if you're interested in making it. Well, I'm ready to go out for the afternoon, and Joe wanted to check the oil in my car before I left, so I'm waiting on him to do that. So it's mid-40s today. It's been cold the last 2 days. So I just put on my Woolrich sweater, and it's one that I got at Elizabethton Boutique a couple of years ago. And I just did a video highlighting Elizabethton Boutique, and hope you all check them out. But this is a Woolrich sweater, and you can't find them anymore, and it's so warm. And I put my hat on to keep the heat in my head. Hopefully I don't have to put my coat on. So as soon as Joe gets done, I'll be off. Well, my first stop is going to be to a friend's house. Her husband isn't feeling well, and Joe and I decided to share our cabbage beef soup with them, and hopefully that will be a nourishing soup, and he will start feeling better soon. So that will be my first stop. You have to watch for deer on this road to my friend's house. They live on the lake, and there's deer that just pop out of these woods right in front of you. And they're so pretty. Farmer John's Produce, and it's just right up here on the right, and they have great produce during the summer and winter months. And right there it is Farmer John's. The other one is just a short piece up here, and it's the thrift store. And this particular thrift store supports homeless veterans, and that's why I like to shop here. It's called Super Thrift, and what they do is the homeless veterans, they provide shelter and food for them for a year, and they work with them to help them get off the street and be able to provide for themselves. Well, I didn't find anything in that particular thrift store, but man, were they busy today. I barely was able to get a few little video clips to kind of give you an idea of what they had. They had a lot of furniture today. But anyway, I'm glad they're busy. Y'all, where I'm parked at this thrift store, there is a beautiful old home across the street here. I don't have a good view of it from right here because of the tree in front of me, but that is a beautiful old home. This is my krill wear pattern.